Hello, everyone. Welcome to Angie's Drama Room. I am your meeting host, Angie, where I do drama reviews on all things drama, focusing mostly on Asian dramas. And today is actually going to be all drama review. There is not going to be any specifics when it comes to actually watching any Korean or Chinese dramas. But what is going to happen is this is pretty much a breakdown, what I've been noticing mostly when it comes to any dramas lately. And today we're going to be talking about the controversy that is happening currently in Korea, which is BTS Suga. And then we'll be talking about Korean drama Plateau, also Chinese dramas. So let's just discuss this thing about BTS Suga. Now, I usually try not to stay within the controversy on other countries' headlines. But however, with BTS Suga, I'd like to say this. As you can see here, I am a fan of BTS. I was a fan since, well, let's see here, maybe 6 years ago. And so when they came out, and I really enjoy their work habits, their personalities. They are very good artists. And so you can see my bias. There's RM. And I also enjoy Jungkook. So when I saw what was going on with Suga and the controversy of his drunk driving, I was kind of contemplating going back and forth. Should I say anything? Because again, I'm just a foreigner looking in, looking into the glass house. And but however, I just feel that because BTS is such a great group, also a great young men, that I just feel like I should say something. Suga was allegedly drunk driving. Now, he was not in a car driving. It was like what you call a kick scooter that had a seat, and you just ride it down, and he fell. The way that the law works in Korea, since it was motorized and it was a place where he actually has to sit and ride it, I believe, that's the reason why he got the drunk driving allegations on him. So first and foremost, I hope that Suga is doing well. He did not hurt himself seriously, because we know last time he did have a shoulder injury and he had to get shoulder surgery on his shoulder prior to him going into the army. And so first of all, foremost, I hope that it didn't aggravate his situation, and I hope that he is doing very well, that he is not hurt in any way, which they never spoken about it. So I'm assuming he is doing okay. It was just a minor accident, and it was only him that would have gotten hurt. There was no other victims around. And so I know that what their law is about drunk driving. But however, I think at this point, we just wish him well. I just wish him well, that that people will find forgiveness more than just trying to throw allegations on him. And knowing how the last 6 or 7 years that I have followed BTS, I know that Suga is very disappointed in himself for what happened. And I do believe when he said that he didn't know this was considered drunk driving. So I will say that too, because how would anybody have known that it would be considered drunk driving? So again, I was just hoping that he is doing well. Wish him well, and that for whatever they say, should he get leniency? I mean, whatever the case law is. To me, as I was saying, I'm just a foreigner looking in. I think it's just basically a mishap that just happened. And to me, I don't think it should be the full extent of the law. So that's my take on BTS Suga. That's it. So let's go into this where I was really focusing on is Korean dramas lately. I have been reading a lot lately on socials about how people are feeling that there's not much in Korean dramas, which I can contest to that too. I haven't really seen too much of Korean dramas out there. And I think at this point, we probably had just maybe have reached the plateau. I've been watching Korean dramas 8, 9 years. I can't remember actually where I started or how I even began to continue. But however, I remember watching Korean drama where it came to my first one I remember. Well, I remember Morning Call, which was a Japanese, and that was at that point I wasn't quite sure the difference between Japanese and Korean or Chinese drama. So then I know, okay, that was a Japanese drama called Morning Call, and it was on Netflix. And then I saw Boys Over Flowers, and then there was The Air, and then from there on, I was watching a lot of Korean dramas. And I think at this point, people want a little bit more. And I think it's more about wanting substance than celebritism. Watching your favorite K-pop artists on the screen, just be watching because they're on the screen. I think a lot of people want more of substance. And there were a lot of them that, okay, I'm like, but however, a lot of people just, I was told, somebody said, all we should do is just sit back and enjoy the show. It is what it is when it comes to idol Korean dramas. And that is true. What is a plateau? Plateau just basically means we reach to a point, but we just can't get that oomph to get further beyond that oomph. And I think at this point too, a lot of the rom-coms, they try to switch it up where it's no longer the same cookie cutter. So they try to switch it up. And to me, stick for what it works. Switching it up, it just causes a lot more confusion and a lot more not really enjoying it as much as some people would have enjoyed it. I remember Business Proposal, when Business Proposal came out, that was probably a couple of years ago. And I was like, oh, okay, they actually went back to the traditional Korean drama when they did Business Proposal. So lately I was saying that I enjoyed Queen of Tears, I enjoyed Lovely Runner, and Missing Crown Prince. Each one of those did have like a little bit of a plot hole or problematic. Queen of Tears, yes, it was kind of heartfelt when he was wishing his wife to die, but I don't think that was the case. I think he was very sorrowful when his wife was about ready to die. And he decided, yes, he's going to stay with her. And see what the outcome was going to be, because again, I believe he just didn't want that to happen. And the one who wrote Queen of Tears was one of the original screenwriters of a lot of the earlier K-dramas too. Lovely Runner, I really enjoyed Lovely Runner. I enjoyed the male lead in the Lovely Runner. But however, the female lead in it, she did carry it where she had to basically take on the show and do the time travel and time looping, and it was focusing on her having to go back in time and change it. But however, I don't think this was her defining role as much as it was for the male lead, Sanjay. I think that was his defining role. Well, his name is not Sanjay, but that's his character's name. That was his defining role in Lovely Runner. I don't think this was her defining role. I think, and I read a lot of people thought she was being annoying. She was a little bit irritated, they're irritated by her. I can understand that because again, a lot of the dialogue just didn't deliver right. I think some of them was kind of insulting, but however, I still enjoyed Lovely Runner just because of the fact of the male lead in it. Then Missing Crown Prince, I was surprised because I don't do a lot of costume dramas, whether it's Chinese or Korean. However, Missing Crown Prince, I did watch it, but however, I think they went a little bit too long in it because normally Korean dramas last 16, however, they went 20. I think they could have cut that down. I think they could have went to 16 and rounded it all up. But again, I still enjoyed Missing Crown Prince. People just want a little bit more, a little bit extra, a little bit more substance. They just don't want your average idol drama. And right now, I think it's coming out, it's called Next Door, My Neighbor Next Door or something Next Door, which is going to be on Netflix. I kind of want to watch that. Even though it kind of looks like I mean, why are they being so fighty? But however, we'll see what happens because I am kind of watched that. So then we have our Chinese dramas this year. They have Chinese dramas. So when I couldn't really find any Korean dramas, I kind of go over to the Chinese dramas. And so they put out a lot of dramas. And you think the month that they put out, you can at least find one of them that you kind of enjoy. So far, there was a lot that I have watched, and I have watched a lot. If you go back to my previous shows, my midweek roundup, I'll leave the link up there. And there's the top 10 Chinese dramas that reached billion views. And I saw 9 of them out of the 10. So if you want to go look at that, you can see what I have been watching because I have been watching a lot. So when Korean dramas, then I kind of fell into, because I like rom-coms. That's the reason why I was really watching Korean dramas, because of the rom-com. And when they started to go into different avenues and different things, and they were switching it up a little bit until they started making jokes about it, and inside the shows, I was like, okay, let me just see what they got. And I kind of fell into the Korean drama, especially when it came to those the contractual marriages things. We had that one artist, he was the king of contractual marriages because that's all you seen him do was contractual marriages. Basically what it is, we have either a CEO or somebody with money that needed a girlfriend for whatever reason or a wife to please the family. So they hire a woman or a girl, well, a woman, of course, a young lady, to be their contractual wife or girlfriend in order to please the family. And basically at the time, reason why she's doing it is because she needed money too. So that's the reason why she does it. And and usually it's funny. I always thought it's kind of funny. It's like faith, because they wait until the last possible dollar that they cannot squeeze any more money out of themselves, where now we have our CEO swoop in with money and offer this money to this the young lady in order to be their contractual spouse or girlfriend. So that's pretty much how I fell into, because I thought they were cute. Then they started going on and on about it, and to a point where, okay, you know what? So they started backing away from that. But however, they still stayed with your idol dramas where it came to relationships. And then they had the girls being a little too homely looking. I'm like, okay, plain Jane. And I'm like, can we not have plain Jane anymore? But however, idol dramas, as my perception, this is just my perception, it's more of a sponsor show. Where it's just 40 or 38 episodes of sponsors ads, product placements, and they just sponsoring the show just so that way they can make more money. And so, which is fine. I have no problem. But when it's just basically just putting out a show just to be putting it out just for that purpose, and putting everything in like step by step, I watched it, I stopped watching it, and I came back, and as I previously stated, but they had everything in there. You had your male and female lead conflict, but they came together. You had your second female lead syndrome. You had the male lead syndrome. You had the male lead being adoptive. You had the second male lead being the actual heir, but however, he was illegitimate. You had the second lead female syndrome who because the male lead is adopted, they really wasn't related. But however, she ended up losing her memory. Then you had the fathers not in the picture. The father dies. There was no mother. I'm not quite sure. The mother dies. I don't know. Then you had the female lead's father going to jail, come out of jail, but then come and find out it was, I don't know. I don't know. So it was literally everything in this idol drama. But however, it's still idol drama. It is what it is. But it I still like a little bit more substance and a little bit more of a storyline than just putting everything in one pot. And then you have your contemporary romantic dramas, which are cute, like Fake It Till You Make It, Will Love in Spring. And then you had the two of my favorite ones at this point when it came to romantic comedies or romantic dramas was Amidst a Snowstorm of Love and As Beautiful as You. Amidst a Snowstorm of Love really was about was Wule being very charming and very flirtatious towards Jajime character. As Beautiful as You was a very slow, slow burn love romance between let's see here, Jin Zing and Hang Ting. Then you had The Double and Princess Royal. The Double, it does, you know, when you time travel back, or I guess they didn't time travel, she went, I'm sorry, The Double was when she took a place of another person because that person died. Well, technically, and I think it's kind of weird. So she switches places. She takes on that person's identity and tries to pass herself off as the daughter to the family. But you know, you're leaving the part where you don't think about the family. I know that they dumped her off somewhere, and they dumped her, so they didn't really love her. But you could tell that the dad did, and there are people who did care for her. But however, and now you're trying to pass yourself off as this person's daughter, and they have no clue that you're not really their daughter. No. However, that somebody did say if you let go logic, it's actually a good show. So I kind of let go logic, and it has its moments. I did kind of continue to watch it after the first episode. I think right now I'm on 5. So I'm periodically watching it back and forth. Princess Royal, I kind of just stopped. If you're going to die and come back to life, I think that when it comes to period dramas or costume dramas, there has to be some reason, to me, why it couldn't just be a contemporary drama. If you're going to go back 20 years, it doesn't make sense because there was no advancement when it's a period piece costume drama, as opposed to as contemporary, going back 20 years and you're in 2024 and going back 20 years. And that, you know, you have established documents of different things that were happening during that time period. Japanese dramas. I did finish watching 366 Days. I mentioned that earlier that I stopped watching it, but I did finish watching it. As a matter of fact, what I ended up having to do, I skipped to episode 6, and then in the beginning of episode 6, that's when the young man came out of his coma, and then they started to tell the story about a lot of the story about how he had to redevelop himself, redevelop his relationship, and how he progressed on for the next 6 episodes, which was 5 to 6 episodes from there, which was okay. It was actually pretty good once I got past him coming out of the coma, because really he was technically the draw, but yet a lot of them really didn't have the story with the other people around him. They kind of just were telling stories about relationships, their relationship. I don't know. I don't know. I guess they were waiting to get to that point when he got out of the coma. So thank you for watching. Thank you for subscriptions. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. I really, really appreciate it. Media adjourned.